Thank you for listening to this Podcast One production, available on Apple Podcasts and Podcast One.
There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers, a dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends, a place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view, but when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. You're tuned into the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness. I'm your host, Dave. That's Tim. Hello, Tim.
Hello.
All right. For those of you that have been following along, I promised an update on what's been going on. We'll cover this quickly and then move on to today's program. For many of you that have followed along on social media or Midnight in the Desert, you'll know this already. For those of you that don't, Winnie and I, my beautiful wife, were expecting a baby for March. And unfortunately, things were not progressing properly. Measurements were off, growth hormones were off, but they would waffle back and forth on whether this was a bad sign or not. And unfortunately, earlier this week, we went in and had final confirmation that there is no life and that the baby was in fact lost. So that is the update. We appreciate all the positivity, the beautiful emails and sentiment and messages that you've been sending our way. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts here in the Schrader household. We really do appreciate all the support that you've given us. We are very blessed to have the family that we have and to have each other. And we're very blessed to have lives and careers and family life that we love and adore. So it's an unfortunate loss, and we're trying to focus on the positives and the things that we do have, and we will just continue on and do our best. But in part, much of our healing has already begun because of the kind words and love that you guys have sent our way. So thank you very much. All right, let's get started. Supernatural news. Parashare Saturday is here. Got a good show lined up for you. A lot of weird stories from around the world, plus a lot of your stories. But, Tim, people are being chicken again.
Really?
You know, we get a couple weeks where we get some calls, and we go 3-4 weeks without calls. I don't know why it is. I mean, you send in stories. Just pick up the phone and give us a call, folks. We're paying for the damn phone line. Call us. Tim and I feel stranded. It's like the zombie apocalypse. We don't even know if you're out there. Hello, hello, hello. Is there anybody in there? We're just looking to hear from you people. We need a little human touch. 651-300-4977. 651-300-4977. That's the phone number to call and leave us your paranormal encounters. We want to hear your lovely voices, even your not so lovely voices. But we want to hear you tell us your favorite strange supernatural experience. I know that we haven't heard all of them. So stop sitting back, wondering, waiting. You got a few minutes. Hey, you're sitting in the pooper at work. Give us a call. Right, Tim? Is that you want in the bathroom?
Well,
I mean, it's a good time. It's downtime for a lot of people.
There's one problem with that, Dave, and there's
what's that?
I mean, I don't really want to think about it, but there's the whole germ load factor.
Well, there's, here's the thing, though, Tim. People are they're always self-conscious. I'm sure most people in the bathroom are wearing plastic gloves and cradling their phone in a bubble wrap package so that it doesn't fall in or get wet.
Oh, you have a lot of faith. Yeah.
Yeah. You just call and leave us a message. I mean, if there's a couple of tweaks and squeaks in the background, Tim could probably edit those out, if you know what I mean.
Oof.
So I was climbing up the stairs as I heard my voice being called from the top. Sploosh, sploosh. Right? If you hear that, you could just edit that out. That would just make your job a little more fun. 651-300-4977. Or you can keep taking the week way out and just write your stories into me. Make me read your stories. Sure, make the fat guy do all the heavy lifting. You can email me, dave@darknessradio.com, and we will share your stories on an upcoming episode. We've got a lot of news to cover today from all the corners of the earth. Tim, where shall we begin today's journey into the unusual?
I tell you where I want to start, Dave. I want to start with an impression.
Please.
Yeah. I want to start
with. Tell me who it is, or are you going to do it and then I have to guess?
I might want you to guess by me doing it, Dave.
Muammar Gaddafi.
Exactly. That's exactly who it is.
Oh, thank you. I'm pretty good at guessing. I've got an ear for it.
Or I'm terrible at the impression. Bernie Sanders, folks, pledges to reveal UFO evidence if elected president. I'm voting for him just to see if he does it, because Bernie doesn't give 3 Fs, Dave, about anything. Not 3, about anything.
Good.
Bernie is the most belligerent guy on the planet, and I don't care.
Hey, everybody, there are UFOs.
He's very
Bigfoot is my bitch.
He's very
vote for Bernie 2020.
He's like, I don't care. I don't care about you. I don't care about you. I'm gonna do what I want. And here's the deal. I'm gonna tell everybody about UFOs. I don't care if they put a bullet in my brain.
Why do you sound like Jackie Mason?
He's very. Have you ever listened to any of his speeches?
Yeah, I know.
He's
very Jackie Mason.
He is. He's very, and he goes out there and he just tells you the way he sees it, and he didn't care. He doesn't give 3 Fs about anything. That I think that's why I don't care about his policies. I just care that he gets the office just to tell us if there are UFOs or not, because he'll tell you. Unlike these other weenies that get into office and never tell us, Bernie will tell you. He doesn't care. He's too old.
Good on him.
If he's too old, Dave, if he gets in there and they threaten to kill him, he'll say, I don't care. Kill me.
Push the button. Don't push the button. I might do it. You don't know.
I'm too old. I don't care. I'll die. If Bernie Sanders makes it to the White House and learns something earth-shattering about aliens, he will reveal the information. Here's what I don't like about this, Dave. He'll reveal the information on Joe Rogan's podcast. Why Joe Rogan?
Because when you think the best in paranormal talk radio, you think Beyond the Darkness, and it must be so busy. They are so overloaded and inundated with news stories and amazing paranormal conversations that, boy, even I, Bernie Sanders, probably can't get on that show because they're so booked for months. I don't know if mine is doing you any good. I'm just trying to do like a Jackie Mason.
You're doing very good at it, actually.
So, yeah, that could be it. Maybe I'm hoping. Or it's Joe Rogan.
But
surprised it's not Corolla.
Here's my Joe Rogan impression.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bernie,
don't forget that.
Yeah,
got to hit the pipe a little bit as you're talking.
So, Bernie, do you think? Do you think that maybe these aliens? Do you think maybe they're out there? I don't know, because
you can just send your hate mail right to timhatesjoerogan@gmail.com.
I don't know, Bernie. I don't know.
How about if we set up a celebrity boxing tournament, you and Joe Rogan, and we tie both of Joe Rogan's hands to his feet?
Well, okay, if he's tied up and I can just continually use my weight to ram him in a corner, that'd be fine.
Let's tie up his hands to his feet.
The guy knows MMA, and I'm incredibly beat up. I don't think I stand a chance. But here, no disrespect to Joe Rogan, but he doesn't have much of an interview style, because all he does is he just says, I suppose, and his guests just vomit up information. No offense, Joe, but, your interview style isn't great.
But it must be, because people just vomit up information. You've heard me. I've had to pull teeth sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I get up on their chest with a wrench to yank teeth out because sometimes they're just not willing to give.
And it's because people love Joe that they'll tell him anything. And that's wonderful.
Is that a backhanded slam? They love Joe?
No.
So they'll tell him anything, Dave. If people loved you, they might be more open. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. No, I'm kidding. But it's because, they're like, oh, it's Joe Rogan. He's funny. He's a wonderful guy. He loves watching people beat the hell out of each other. I'll tell him anything.
Oh.
But it's not like, there's not, you don't go to Joe Rogan to hear wonderful in-depth interviews. He doesn't, and everybody tells me, oh, did you hear Joe Rogan? You know what? I have sat and listened to Joe Rogan quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
But it's
On purpose?
It's not Joe Rogan I go to listen to. I go to listen to his guests because his guests will sit there and talk for 2 hours at a crack, and Joe will go, oh, do you suppose maybe, I don't know, do you think that maybe the aliens would come out of the sky and, I don't know, do you think they'd introduce themselves to us?
He gets wound up. I've heard him. I've seen video where he starts getting all bonkers.
Few and far between.
Yeah. I don't know why Tim is hating Joe Rogan so much today. Maybe we need to just stop the show and I need to cuddle him for a few minutes.
I don't hate the man. It's just, I don't ever see highly intelligent interviews. If I want to go somewhere and get stimulated by an interview, it isn't Joe. I'm sorry, Joe. His guests can be intriguing. I'll give him that. But Bernie, if you want to come on a show that will actually engage you about alien disclosure, we're right here.
Yeah, we know people at Coast to Coast. We can get you on the air like that. What?
Wasn't what I was thinking of.
You meant on our show?
Yes, on our show.
We have had presidential candidates on before. So,
well, yeah.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be opposed to having it again.
Technically, yeah.
What do you mean technically?
Well, not ones that stood a chance at winning. I mean,
wow. Wow. Taking a shot at a past guest.
Just saying. So,
all right,
Bernie,
anyway,
the Vermont.
Yeah, we digress a lot. Go ahead.
So evidently, Bernie did step onto Joe's set and said that he would disclose it to Joe. He did this past Tuesday. The promise, reported by Motherboard, came at the end of an hour-long conversation between Sanders and Rogan, of which I'm sure Bernie took over 99% of that conversation. Rogan, in my best impression, said, if you got into the office and you found out something about aliens, if you found out something about UFOs, would you let us know? No, I'm not going to let you know, Joe. Sanders said...
No, Joe, not going to happen, Joe.
No, Joe, it's not going to happen. No. Sanders said, well, I tell you, my wife would demand I let you know. And then Rogan, in his ultimate wisdom, said, is your wife a UFO nut?
You would call out Bernie's wife right there on the spot?
Yeah. Great question there, Joe. To which Sanders said...
Wow. You have got a lot of anxiety and anger built up about Joe Rogan and his abilities.
There's no anger here. I just wish, there'd be a little more prep. To which Sanders goes, no, she's not a UFO nut. She goes, Bernie, what is going on? Do you know? Do you have any access to records? To which Rogan goes, you don't have any access? You'll let us know, though?
So you guys are tuning in for what we call time travel radio. Tim is giving you a quick view of what that, in an alternate universe that Bernie Sanders wins, Tim. This is the audio that would be playing.
This is what actually happened on Tuesday.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
It actually happened already.
Yeah.
Did he win presidency and I didn't even know about it?
No. Bernie showed up on Joe Rogan's podcast and told him if he became president, he would come back on. And to which Sanders said after Joe said, you don't have any access, you let us know though, right? Sanders said, all right, we'll announce it on the show. How's that? So, yeah. So
why not? The president of the United States forego CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and go straight to Joe Rogan.
I know,
for major
right?
disclosure.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's good news.
Yeah.
Good news for Joe Rogan. That's a pretty sweet exclusive to pin down.
Legitimate news sources be damned. We're going straight to Joe Rogan. Now, keep in mind, through all of this, that we've had many presidents in the past who have promised disclosure, including President Trump being the latest, who still hasn't come through. George Stephanopoulos did ask Trump about sightings by Navy pilots this past summer. People are saying they're seeing UFOs. This is a quote by Trump, but do I believe it? Not particularly. Trump told that to George Stephanopoulos in an exclusive interview this past summer. The irony is that Trump was the preferred candidate of many in the UFO set in 2016, not because he had evinced any support for releasing documents related to UFOs. In fact, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, is a well-known believer, and Clinton had nodded towards spilling the beans on UFOs once she got to the White House, but because of Trump's apparent willingness to burn everything down. As one UFO hunter told CNN in 2015, my candidate is Donald Trump because he's not a politician. I could be wrong, but the extraterrestrials tell me that Donald Trump is the one to lead America. And how's that for leaving you with a quote on that story?
Pretty crazy. Yeah.
So, Donald Trump being the latest in the series of presidents, but you go everywhere from Trump to Clinton to Bill Clinton, to even, you have presidents like Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan who have had experiences with UFOs who, you've had all these different presidents that say, we will get down to the bottom of it and someday we'll let you know that aliens really do exist and that they're out there. But not one has come forward so far and said, yep, that's right, they're there.
All right. Long story short, Bernie will be on Joe Rogan's show, not ours.
Yeah. Would you come back and let us know, Joe?
Be really nice. I might be doing Rogan's show soon.
Yeah, well, good luck to you. I never get asked for any of that stuff, so I don't have anything to worry about.
I'll just on air. I'll just tell him that you're challenging him to a duel.
What, a mental duel? I'll win that one easy.
Wow. All right, let's get to an email here from the hills. In 1969, my parents bought a 25-acre farm with a farmhouse and a barn built in the 1800s. Both were haunted, but that's a story for another time. Right out of the chute, we're getting the tease, Tim.
Ooh. Right
out of the chute. Naturally, they signed up for a landline phone number. Let's say it was 1-2-3-4-5-6-7-8-9-0. Well, that'd be a great phone number if you could get it. 50 years later, we still have that landline number. I say we because I built my parents a new house on the property in 2008. When I built the house, I had everything transferred to my name, including the phone number. My intent with building my parents the new house was to give my dad a place to live and die with dignity. He had COPD and passed away in 2011. Shortly after he passed away, the phone rang. It came up on the caller ID, Carl Hill, and our own phone number, 1-2-3-4-5-6-7-8-9-0. Confused, but knowing that phone numbers can be cloned, my mother answered the phone. There was nothing but static on the other end. Hello, she said, but no response. Just static. Over the years, my mother has received that same phone call 2 to 3 times a year. In fact, she just received another call today. She answers, and there's consistently nothing but static on the other end. I think it would be interesting to run an EVP on the static to see if there's something more. But there is a theory out there that a small percentage of static is caused by the afterglow of the Big Bang. It's a comforting thought that static is my dad saying hello from the heavens. And that comes from Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. What a cool little story. I'm just curious, have you ever tried to talk? Have you said, hi, Dad, or hi, Carl, we love you, we miss you, thank you for checking in? And if so, how soon after that did it disconnect? Does it just disconnect on its own? I have so many questions, Tim.
Well, good. At least you do. Don't send her to Joe.
Did you think maybe it was a power outage and it caused the phone to ring by accidental or something?
Did you get scared and hide under the sheets? That's what I would have done. It's so scary. Give me another hit of LSD.
Boy, fans of Joe Rogan are busily typing you hate mail right now. I can hear it.
I'm sure. No, you got to give the show a chance. You got to listen to it. You know what? I've listened to like 50, 60 hours. I watched it on YouTube.
Folks, we're just going to pause the show while I cradle Tim lovingly in my arms and tell him everything's going to be okay. He's a little spent today. Seems on edge. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to just let me just stroke his forehead for a few seconds. Hold on.
Like I said, I love the guests. The guests come forward and deliver. They really do.
Blue skies, Tim. Okay,
blue skies.
Blue skies. You can feel it. Oh, yeah, that feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can feel the waves lapping up at your toes, the sand between the cheeks of your buttocks as you lay naked on the sand, staring up at the baking sun.
I need a wash rag. That sand does not feel good.
You're supposed to be relaxing, Tim.
Right.
This is relaxation time.
Okay.
All right. Now let's get back to the show.
All right.
Are you ready for the next supernatural news story that is non-John Rogan or John Rogan related?
His brother who can't interview. My baby monitor is haunted, Dave. It's haunted.
You have a baby monitor?
Yeah, baby monitor. Yeah.
Okay. What's going on?
Tales of parental fright. That's what's going on, Dave. This story coming from Julie Jargon of the Wall Street Journal, the place you go to for great paranormal news, by the way.
What is going on in the world? Joe Rogan and the Wall Street Journal are getting exclusives?
They're all horning in on our gig.
Biscuit.
Yeah, I know. Natalie Wallace was lying in bed one night more than a month ago when she glanced at her Cocoon Cam baby monitor. Asked for it by name at Walmart. She noticed splotches of pink and purple all around the baby's bassinet, and the colors were supposed to indicate motion, but her baby was in a deep sleep. A few days later, Ms. Wallace, who helps run a leadership development company in Los Angeles, came home to find her husband at the kitchen table looking distraught. He showed her a screenshot he'd taken of a human-like figure on the baby monitor, floating above the ground near the baby. That's not supposed to happen. Who was napping upstairs? Shortly after that, they saw what looked like a whole family of ghostly shapes looming over the bassinet. Every new technology brings its own set of ghosts in the machine, and the latest high-tech baby monitors have been known to cause anxiety instead of relieving it, especially when they trigger false alarms that send parents into a panic. And now parents have to wonder about these new motion detection cameras picking up ghosts? Well, it may just be fodder for paranormal television shows and Hollywood films, according to the author. But for many parents, the fear is real, even if the spectral beings aren't. It's normal for new parents to feel anxious about their baby's well-being, said Lawrence Balter, professor emeritus of applied psychology at New York University. That kind of nervousness can lead people to jump to conclusions about what they see. If you weren't nervous, you probably wouldn't make that interpretation, he said. You'd say it's probably some sort of technological glitch, but if you're nervous and worried about your newborn's well-being, you might jump to a conclusion that's less logical.
Who's worried about that? As a new parent, whoever just idly sits back worried about the well-being of their infant children? Come on. Come up with a better fight than that.
Yeah, I mean, you got better things to do. There's good stuff on TV.
Exactly.
Yeah. I reached out to Cocoon Cam, which is hard to say 10 times fast, to find out what the glitch on Ms. Wallace's camera could be. After reviewing the screenshots, Gary McMath, the company's marketing chief, said it appears the monitor was placed on a dresser, not mounted on a wall above the bassinet as intended, according to this reporter. When the camera is properly...
Right, because when it's mounted, you don't notice ghosts, is what they're saying. Dresser cams always pick up ghosts, and our camera is not meant to be a dresser cam.
That's what they're saying. When the camera is properly installed, this is the quote from them, the computer vision would focus on the baby's motions, waking, sleeping, even breathing, he said in an email. He added that the system tries to find a movement area to focus on, and that the ghosts, quote unquote, could be various points of movement, such as light, shadows, or blowing curtains. That's the name of, that's my nickname, by the way, in college, blowing curtains. But I hope this clarifies the matter.
Was curtains.
What's that?
I said, by the way, folks, my nickname was Curtains.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, we all got to try and get the test results one way or another. I hope this clarifies the matter, he went on to say. Not really, says the author. For one thing, there's no curtains in the room. You were always in the room. I mean, I just wasn't blowing at nothing. Just wooden blinds is what the author went on to say. Besides, small movements generally show up as little blobs. Oh, that's not nice. Not human-sized apparitions. The reporter asked Mr. McMath if Cocoon Cam would share with that reporter any reference images that could serve as an explanation. He said he couldn't. However, he added, we have gotten a few calls and emails asking about similar phenomenon. I thought I'd consult a different kind of expert, the reporter said. It definitely looks like we may have some ghostly activity here, said Joshua P. Warren. I think we're familiar with him. A paranormal investigator in North Carolina.
Being quoted in the Wall Street Journal.
Yes, he was quoted in the Journal. The reporter says, while I expected him to say something like that, he did offer constructive advice for determining whether there's a natural or supernatural explanation behind such images. It's best, he said, to set up more than one camera so you can see the object from multiple angles. Absent that, having other reference images helps. Ms. Wallace captured other types of movement, the alarm clock, her husband rocking the baby, her baby moving in the bassinet, and found that the colors that signify motion don't look at all like those floating forms. Whatever it is, Ms. Wallace doesn't want to see it anymore. She has turned off the motion detection feature of the monitor and now uses only the audio so she can hear if the baby is crying when she's downstairs. Adrienne Wright, a Brooklyn, New York mom who owns a PR agency, was relaxing with her husband one evening last month when their Nest Cam app alerted them to motion in their toddler's room. We rolled our eyes like, please don't be awake, said Ms. Wright. I looked at the camera and noticed that the closet door was open. She asked her husband if he had opened it, and he said he didn't think so. She replayed the footage and saw the closet door slowly opening all the way. I went to her room and looked at her, and she was fine. I sat in there watching her for about an hour, Ms. Wright said, and I could not go to sleep that night. In the footage, Ms. Wright shared with the reporter, a thin baby blanket tumbles out of the closet as it opens, and the question is, could this really push open the door? The challenge when it comes to analyzing these things is you can only work with what you have. I want to say there's probably a more likely explanation before jumping to the conclusion that it was something paranormal, Joshua went on to say. A few nights ago, Ms. Wright was watching TV when she heard her daughter's door slam shut. She went to check on her and found the door ajar and her daughter in a deep sleep. She then checked the Nest Cam and saw what appeared to be a white object fly across the room right around the time she'd heard the door slam. Not everyone is spooked by what they capture on their baby monitor, however. Allie Levine, who's a celebrity stylist in Los Angeles, has seen white orbs floating around her baby's crib. Skeptics have dismissed these frequently cited artifacts as backscatter. Ooh, that's a new word for orbs, backscatter, which is light reflecting back from dust in the camera's lens field of view. Ms. Levine doesn't believe that, however. She said she finds the orbs comforting and likes to think of them as a sign that someone's watching over baby Amelia. My daughter is named after my grandmother, Ms. Levine said, so maybe it's my grandmother making sure she's safe. There you go.
I don't know. Would you turn off the motion feature if it was picking up something moving around your child? I think I'd want to keep alerted to that.
Yeah, I'm not turning it off. I think I want to know if there's something lurking around my child. That's for sure.
In fact, we'd probably hardwire it in and stream it on the internet, charging $3.99 a minute to watch my baby sleep. Ghosts come in, you guys can see it. That's what I would be doing.
Oh, I thought maybe there's some sort of creepy reason you're streaming your baby sleeping, but
no. Although it's creepy, like when you hear people's voices coming through those baby monitors.
Yeah.
To hack them.
Oh, yes.
Very weird. Hello, Dave. Hello, Tim.
Hello.
That's how it starts off. I'm pretty sure it went down like that. Hello, Tim. Let me first apologize for my poor grammar and spelling. Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
Psych! That's what it says. I have excellent grammar and know how to use spell check.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I wrote into the show back in 2013 because I saw an apparition of a little boy in my apartment. A few months later, found out I was pregnant. I felt that I should send a follow-up because, unfortunately, there was a perfectly rational explanation for what I saw that night. That vision turned into a long period of almost nightly and very vivid sleep paralysis episodes. I won't describe to you every hallucination I can remember because there were so many, but I'll describe a few. The first time it happened, I had almost drifted off to sleep when I looked over, and on the ceiling above my son's crib was a cockroach the size of a mouse running across our room. I told my husband the next day, mortified that we had such a horrible cockroach problem living in an apartment. We were dealing with them already. He then kindly explained to me that it was probably just a dream and a cockroach that size doesn't exist. It was hard for me to consider at the time that it wasn't real because I was positive of what I saw. The hallucinations continued and almost on a nightly basis, but they were almost always bugs. One particularly strange episode I had was, again, when I was just about to drift off, I found myself sitting up in my bed, looking at a beetle floating toward me, surrounded by a ball made of filaments of light. I kept repeating, "Oh my God," when my husband rushed in and asking what was wrong. By the time he came in, the vision had dissipated completely. Feeling embarrassed, I told him I was fine and just went back to bed. One of the most terrifying visions I had was actually when I was truly awake. I have to be at work at 4 a.m. It's terrible, but don't worry, your show helps get me through it. One morning I was driving to work. I pulled out of my apartment, turning left in a median onto a main street. As I was turning, I saw a man on the median about to walk across the street, and he looked as though he was about to walk into my car. I got past him, looked in my rearview mirror, and he was nowhere in sight. I must admit, that one had me thinking, maybe I should get my head checked. I'm not against that either. Maybe you should. I'm just kidding you. Don't worry, Julie. We're teasing. After a while, I stopped being afraid of the hallucinations and just learned to live with it. They ranged from audio hallucinations of an extremely loud electrical buzzing sound to my ceiling being covered in flowers and butterflies. It sounds beautiful. There were times when my husband had to deal with me yelling in my sleep and jumping out of bed to avoid a non-existent tarantula falling on my face. He eventually got used to it too, and when I would jump up in bed gasping in shock, he would just smirk at me and say, "What was it this time?" Every time I had one of those visions, my eyes were open, and it was as if my dream was playing out in the room. I couldn't speak or move until I started waking up from it. During this time, I started noticing black spots forming in my bathroom, real, not imaginary. My husband and I determined that this was black mold. We were doing some research, trying to find out ways to get rid of it when we stumbled across some symptoms of black mold. One that stuck out was hallucinations. I think I was more susceptible to it because of my terrible work schedule, and being a new mom just added to my non-restful sleep. Fortunately, we were able to get out of that apartment shortly after our discovery. The episodes slowly decreased in frequency and intensity, and now I can't remember the last time I had one. I'm still waiting on my indisputable supernatural experience, and I really do want to believe. I've been a longtime fan of the show and dream of the day I can join one of your overseas paranormal investigations. Thank you, Tim and Dave, for being you. That comes from Julie in Albuquerque, Tim.
Well, thank you, Julie.
Is that how you say that? Albuquerque?
I think it is, yeah, the official pronunciation. Yeah.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, Tim.
Yippers.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Every car comes with its share of stories. The bullet holes in your trunk when you nervously tried to get out after being trapped by Dave.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
The luxury package that you got after a big promotion. Sorry. We've never been able to get one of those because we do radio.
Yep.
Or the mileage that you save by riding your bike all summer. While you can't put a price tag on your stories, now with TrueCar, you can at least find out what your car's worth when it's time to sell or trade it in. Just go to TrueCar, simply enter your license plate number, and watch how your car's details pop up. Then answer a few questions. Does it have navigation and moonroof? Watch as they bump up your value. High mileage? You already knew that was going to cost you, but now you know how much it dings your wallet, so you can plan ahead. Once you're finished, you'll get a True Cash offer sent in just minutes, which you can take to a local certified dealer to cash out or trade in. So when you're ready to experience a better way to sell or trade in your car, check out TrueCar today. True Cash offer is not available in all areas. Pluto TV. I don't know how many times I'm going to mention it to you people, and you still haven't downloaded it? Maybe you're their gluttons for punishment, Tim. Maybe they think, no, I want to pay for my TV and movies. I have nothing better to do with this money. Well, let me give you a bit of advice. How about if you take the money that you're spending on your Netflixes and your Hulus and your Amazons, and how about if you just subscribe to True Crime Tuesday with it, and then free up all that money. Now you can go download Pluto TV because it's a leading free streaming television service. And on that service, you can watch over 100 TV channels, thousands of movies on demand. Do you know how much those cost him?
$14.95.
No, sir. Free.
Really?
I don't know if you heard me when I said it's the leading free streaming television service.
Whoa.
They've got over 100 TV channels and thousands of movies on demand, all for free, Tim. There's no credit card needed, Tim. You don't have to sign up, Tim. Pluto TV is easy and completely legal way to watch your favorite TV shows and hit movies. What are you waiting for? Never pay for TV again. Download Pluto TV for free on all of your favorite devices today. Your phone, your Roku, your Amazon Fire TV, your Apple TV, your smart TVs, your PlayStation, and anywhere else that you stream. Pluto TV is waiting to make your life easier. Go download it right now. All right, Timothy, where shall we go next in the world of supernatural news?
Well, Dave, I don't know whether to be proud about this next story or a little confused.
Let's hear it and we'll decide together.
Scientists are baffled by the sudden brightness of our galaxy's supermassive black hole, Dave.
Pardon me?
You heard me. Scientists are baffled by the sudden brightness of our galaxy's supermassive black hole. First of all, it's not polite to judge. Second of all, we've worked hard to get our supermassive black hole a little bright. You know what I mean? It's called bleaching, Dave. It's called bleaching.
Bleaching, you say?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just saying. You never want to wonder what's eating a black hole.
No, I guess not.
I've always wanted to read that line on air. In fact, I want to be careful when I read this next word.
Okay, be careful.
In fact, moodiness is the last thing you want from a light-bending, time-sucking void. But something seems to have gotten Sagittarius A+ all fired up. And since it's the supermassive black hole at the heart of the Milky Way, it's a little hard to ignore. Their research revealed in Cornell University's RXIV, I don't know how you say that, suggests Sagittarius A+ is flashing 75 times brighter than it has since monitoring it began more than 20 years ago. Back in May, astronomer Tuan Do from the University of California just happened to be peering at the heart of the galaxy from Hawaii's Keck Observatory, this according to the New Scientists. He spotted something particularly bright. At first, Do assumed it was a star. Then he realized he was being flashed by the Milky Way's supermassive black hole in residence. You ever been flashed by the Milky Way supermassive black hole before, Dave?
I've had a couple of massive black holes definitely flash me, Tim.
I see. Yes. It was strange because I had never seen the black hole that bright before, Do tells New Scientist. And how, you may ask, does something called a black hole twinkle? Well, I'm glad.
I don't know. Buy a dinner and give it roses? I don't know.
That's part of it. All that frantic hoovering of dust and gas generates a lot of heat, Dave. And under a telescope's ultraviolet eye, it appears to flicker. Think of it as a little stardust left around the mouth. This sounds like a date gone wrong. Or in this case, the accretion disk of a messy eater. You know what I mean? Black holes have no time for napkins, Dave. Oh, no, they don't. This is just going wrong. The unprecedented flash from Sagittarius A+, however, suggests the cosmic carnivore may have gobbled up a very spicy celestial meatball, if you know what I mean.
Good God.
Maybe more gas is falling into the black hole, and that leads to higher amounts of accretion, which leads to it being brighter, Do added in New Scientist. There's also a chance that the black hole finally got around to eating a gaseous object identified as G2, which was found to be approaching Sagittarius A+ in 2014. I feel like this really is a date gone wrong between the two of them. But frankly, scientists don't understand why our black hole has suddenly grown so bright. Doe and his team are hoping information from other telescopes can help solve the mystery. One thing we do know is that there's no chance Sagittarius A+ is on the move. These chasms in space and time don't wander the galaxy looking for snacks. In fact, Sagittarius A+ has been sitting at the same buffet table in the heart of space for billions of years. But like anyone who eats nonstop while being parked on their posteriors, black holes will gain mass and expand in diameter.
I've had nights like that, too.
Yeah, most estimates peg the diameter of Sagittarius A+ at around 14 million miles wide. But really, you look good in that dress. With a mass of 3.6 million suns, that qualifies it in astronomical terms as supermassive, but not nearly enough for a membership card to the ultramassive Black Hole Club. That's for the likes of downright beauty Holm 15A. In any case, with Sagittarius A+, some 25,640 light years away from Earth, we're not even close to being folded into its expanding girth. Unless, of course, you consider that a black hole not only doesn't care for napkins, but also the rules of time and space. We simply don't know what these cosmic enigmas are capable of. Perhaps, as renowned astrophysicist Michio Kaku once suggested, a black hole could literally tear the universe a new one. Interesting language. If space is a fabric, then of course fabrics can have ripples, which we have now seen directly, but fabrics can also rip. Then the question is, what happens when the fabric of time and space is ripped by a black hole? He told the Economic Times earlier this year. Let's just hope it was a spicy meatball. There you go.
So far this year, we've been flashed by the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were flashed by Mars.
Yep.
We were flashed from a different part of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Uranus flashed me. And now we've got this big gaping sucking black hole flashing us in the middle of the Milky Way.
Supermassive black hole getting bright. Yep.
2019, the year of being flashed. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We've got more supernatural news when we return right here on Beyond the Darkness. Want a podcast? Got a podcast? Then check out Launchpad DM, powered by Podcast One. Launchpad DM is a totally free platform and service for anyone who wants to podcast, offering unlimited hosting and access to a dashboard with all of your show's analytics. You own and control everything, including subscribers. And it's a great discovery tool to help people find your podcast. You may even get invited to join the official Podcast One roster with even more perks, like access to producers, marketers, sales teams, and more. Sign up today at launchpaddm.com.
Beyond the Darkness.
We're back. This is Beyond the Darkness. I'm Dave. That's Tim. How would you like to come see us? How about next week? Michigan Paracon 10 is officially on the page. It takes place August 22nd through the 24th at Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan at the Quadden Casino. We're looking forward to being there. They've got, I think this has got to be their most massive roster ever. They have got a bajillion, Tim, I've counted them on my hands and toes, a bajillion paranormal speakers, talks, all kinds of fun stuff. Tim and I will be there. We'd love for you to come by and visit with us. And you can get information by visiting darknessevents.com. But Dave, I can't do that. I can't make it. I'd love to be there. Can't do it. If only you would be somewhere closer to Minnesota. Well, I will be. I'll be at the Nightmare Before Halloween number 14 at Crypticon Minneapolis. That's right. Takes place September 6th, 7th, and 8th. More info on Crypticon Minneapolis on our page at Darkness Events. But Dave, that's not enough. Ben, those of us in France, we wish that we could see you, my friend. Well, it just so happens I'll be in France September 15th through the 24th with our Phantoms of France trip. I will be posting where we're at. So if you Frenchies out there are listening to this podcast and want to meet me somewhere along the road and buy me a croissant, Tim, that's French.
A croissant?
I've been curious. When I go there, do I order French fries or do I just ask for fries? Because there, everything is French fries, French bread, right?
I don't know that they have those there.
If I kiss somebody in France, is it all automatically a French kiss, Tim?
I think it's the technique, not the name.
Oh, all right. Not sure.
Yeah.
How about this? 2019 Chicago Ghost Conference is back. Tim and I will be there. Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis featured October 18th through the 20th at the Haunted Holiday Inn in Courtside, Illinois, or Countryside, rather, Illinois. Did I mention where we have tickets for that, Tim?
Would that be darknessevents.com, Dave?
You betcha. Just go to darknessevents.com and click on the banners. And then, you know what? Boy, it would be a lot of fun if I could just go on a ship with Dave and Tim through, let's say, the Bermuda Triangle. But what are the odds that would ever happen, especially with wrestling rock and roll star Chris Jericho? Well, it's happening. January 20th through the 24th of 2020. Miami to Nassau, Bahamas. Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea Part 2.
And
the second wave.
Dave, don't forget about the special guest host that they just announced.
Oh, yes, there's a special guest host. If you love me on Beyond the Darkness, you love me on Midnight in the Desert, you love me on True Crime Tuesday, then you're going to love, what's his name, Iglesias? Fluffy?
Yeah, Fluffy, Mateen, Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah, he'll be there too. Well, but if you love me, I'll be there. And then Julio Iglesias will be there as well.
Julio!
What? What's his name?
Julio.
Fluffy?
Gabriel Iglesias.
Gabriel Iglesias.
Mateen.
Oh, I know. I'm joking. My kids I'm taking my boys this year to the cruise, and they are so psyched. And then to throw in old Fluffy just made things even more exciting for them. So they're very pumped, very excited to be a part of that. That takes place in January and March. Phenomenology 2020. Phenomenology is back. Don't miss this premiere exclusive paranormal event taking place in the Gettysburg area, March 26th through the 29th. Those are just some of the cool events that we have coming up over the next year. We would love to meet you there. So go check it out for yourself. Educate yourself on all the different ways you can come out and see us and have some fun. All right, Tim, speaking of fun, where are we going next in the world of supernatural news? Oh, wait, one more bit of information, Tim.
Yeah.
Let me steal it back from you real quickly.
All right.
The iPhone app is up and working, Tim. Is that exciting?
That is exciting, yeah.
Now, when I say up and working, it's up and working. There are a few bugs that we're still working out, like when you go to listen to the Legends podcast, Tim.
Yeah.
Our friend Jeff Belanger, we have the Legends podcast on there. When you click on it, and it pulls up the page and you push the play button, it crashes the entire system, Tim. Not your phone, just our app. It shuts it down. But we're working on that. We'll have that fixed soon so you can listen to Legends podcast with Jeff Belanger as well. But in the meantime, if you download it from the iTunes App Store or from the Google Play Store for you Droid users, you can access our shows, listen to our archives, listen to the live shows, listen to the new shows. It's all there. It's all convenient. There's ways to contact Tim and I. They've got, as a matter of fact, we put Tim's phone number is right there along with an address.
What?
That you can call Tim and visit Tim. And we encourage you to go check that out. It's on the app. It's true, folks. He's tried to stifle me for years, but the number's up.
What?
Go check it out. It's on the app. Okay, Tim. Now that was my supernatural news. What have you got for us next?
You put my number and my address on the app?
I did, in fact, Tim. P.O. Box 22321 in Eagan, Minnesota. That's the address. You can reach to Tim or you can write to me at as well. Also, Tim's phone number, finally up, 651-300-4977. Well, I mean, it's our Voices from Beyond voicemail. You didn't really think I'd give you Tim's number after 13 years of teasing you, did you? Did you really think I'd just cough it up that easy? But you can reach out to Tim and I. It's a way to talk to us. It's a one-way communication, really. You're just talking to us. We don't talk back to you because we're kind of big shots and celebrities in our own homes, Tim. I don't know if you know this, but I happen to be the #1 DJ and radio personality in my house.
And I've stopped talking to my teddy bear.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. That's what you can find on both versions. The Google Play Store for Droid users, the iPhone App Store. You'll be able to find the Darkness Radio app there as well. Download it. Keep downloading. Share it. Give it to people. Tell them to download it. Make them listen to our show. Make the addiction spread, my friends. All right, Tim, what's your supernatural news?
Well, I don't know if there's any fun in this next story, Dave. It's just downright terrifying. A guard hears a boy's voice screaming for help in a crematorium before a creepy figure appears. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yikes.
Yeah. A nighttime security guard captured a boy screaming for help in a crematorium in spooky footage that has left viewers terrified. Not like they'd be applauding. The clip begins with the guard walking through a dark, unlit crypt when he hears sounds like running footsteps. Hello, he said. Is it me you're looking for? No, that was a Lionel Richie deal. Hello, he asks before hearing another loud voice. He shouts, hey, you need to come out. I'm not playing anymore. Another voice echoes throughout the room, startling the man. The clip cuts to him driving around the crematorium's plot before he spots lights flickering from the inside. I'm not really sure what's going on here, the frightened man adds. The guard then walks into the chapel before hearing an echoing scream. Nope, he adds, I'm effing done. There's some spooking effing shit going on here. Nope. This is why my security officer effing quit, he went on to say in the video. There was a kid standing right over here when I walked right past them, he went on to say. In a slow-motion clip of the moment, the guard noticed a creepy figure and a pair of legs becomes apparent. The man circles the figure that was hidden within the shadows of an outside wall. He then reapproaches the building while the sounds of banging overshadow the video. Surprisingly, the guard re-enters the property and discovers a door, which he had previously shut, is wide open. He shouts, hello, security? Then Lionel Richie appears. No, I'm kidding. A young voice seemingly replies, help. The creepy video, which was originally uploaded to the video app TikTok only days ago, has gone viral after being posted by YouTube channel Disclosed Screen. One person said, no way, time to get another security job. That loud voice scream or whatever would have me pee myself. No thanks. Another said, this is creepy. However, not everyone believed the video was legitimate, with many claiming that the video was quote-unquote faked. It comes after the explorers became stunned by an eerie figure.
I would say this about that. I actually followed that guy when he started posting his videos on TikTok.
Yeah?
And they're very, I will say this, they're very weird. He's like, all right, I'm on the site and I'm going to go in here. But he even does some of these walkthroughs during the day. And he was in the mausoleum talking. And here's the problem I have.
Okay.
He's in his security regalia. He's in the car. He's at this cemetery. He's doing these things. If this was fake, I don't think he'd still have that contract. Because I don't think that the cemetery would put up with that shenanigans.
Really?
That's my take on it. Would you? I mean, first of all, that's going to bring all kinds of ne'er-do-wells through there.
Yeah, sure.
They're paranormal investigators, Tim. But it's going to cause issues, and it's some of the videos, I will admit, are scary as hell. He was in the one mausoleum, and like the lights started flashing, and you hear a scream. It was freaky. It was great video content. If he's faking it, he's doing a great job. But like when he was in there during the day, he's like, all right, knock it off. And he tells you straight up, I don't believe in ghosts. I think somebody's jerking around with me, but he couldn't figure it out. But then there were a couple times things just get really hairy and he gets out of there. And to his credit, like he's walking by, and it's nighttime and he's moving the camera around as he's walking and talking. And he didn't even realize that the little kid was standing out there.
Oof.
Until one of the people said, dude, like 45 seconds in, there's a kid that you pass. And he goes back and he's like, yeah, why would this kid be out here at this time of night? And it's pretty weird. It's some pretty chilling video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. Very, very weird. All right. Speaking of weird, I've got an email here, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you find this a good read. My wife was making fun of me as I was writing this. She said her story of seeing someone in the baby monitor over our son was even more scary than my story. Well, I told her to write you guys, and then she asked me, who's Dave and Tim?
What?
I just shook my head.
Oh, my God.
I just shook my head.
But I bet she knows who Joe Rogan is.
Son of a bitch. Dave and Tim, longtime listener and have been a big fan ever since I heard you on Talk is Jericho. This is the letter that he typed up for us that his wife mocked him for. You guys really make my long day at work easier with your funny remarks and witty banter between each other. Okay, enough of the ass kissing, LOL. I'll let you know when we're done with the ass kissing. You may continue. I don't really have any paranormal things happen to me except this one time at band camp. No, except this one time. I had just broken up with my crazy ex. She had just moved out. So I was just getting used to a quiet house, just me and my pug dog, Demita, who, by the way, can snore like she is sawing logs. So we were in my nice California king bed with my dog snoring away. I was watching TV when I paused my TV and went to the bathroom to take a leak, when suddenly my dog woke up and started growling.
Aww.
That's a pug growl right there.
Cutest growl
ever. As I came back into the room, asking her, what's the matter, girl? With only her head, she was growling like she heard something. Then next thing I know, I start to hear a rustling downstairs, like someone or something is down there. Being unprepared, I grabbed a hammer that was next to my bed.
Uh-oh.
Do you just keep a hammer next to your bed?
What are you, Thor?
Keeping a hammer. My dog was going nuts by now, jumping and barking at me. My heart was racing. Vroom, vroom. As I was clutching the hammer and my brave pug by my side.
Thor, commander of dogs.
Yeah. Pugs. I don't even know if dogs and pugs are the same thing.
Oh, come on. I mean,
pugs, they seem to have their own creation, their own breed of something. I don't know that they just look dog-like. We stood at the end of the hall in front of my bathroom. Now let me explain the layout of my house a little. My hallway from the bathroom leads to the front door. To the right is my kitchen and dining room. I have a door in the dining room which leads to my basement and another door that leads to my garage. As I look down the hall, I can see the door to my basement. My heart is pounding, just waiting for whoever or whatever is in the basement to open the door. Now all is quiet, but my dog is still in a low growl. Then I hear the door to the garage open and slam shut. Then it moves the door to the kitchen, but doesn't open it. Like when the air pressure moves doors when they slam. Now I find myself in the classic horror movie cliche of what to do next. So I slowly move down the hall and open the door to the basement with my trusty hammer in hand and my pug by my side, and nothing is there. So now I'm like, shit. Now I have to check the garage and basement to see if anyone broke in. At the top of the stairs, I can turn on the garage and basement lights. I slowly open the door to the garage and see nothing and no one in my one-car garage except my car. So I search the garage and under my car and even my little workshop I have at the back of the garage, thinking to myself, I don't remember any footsteps coming up or down the stairs. That is, if whoever opened and closed the garage door was a distraction to escape. So now I'm like, shit, I have to go downstairs now and look. So I slowly head down the stairs with my hammer in hand, my trusty pug still by my side. With my heart pounding a mile a minute, I look around the basement, looking for someone or a broken window of entry. So I go from room to room in the basement, checking both closets. Nothing. Nothing is out of place. No windows to my egress windows are open, unlocked, or broken. So before I head to bed, I found a Bible and I read some verses to bless my house. I kind of felt like Gandalf when he says, "You shall not pass." See, he takes it from a good ghost story and brings it straight to Nerd Town, USA, Tim.
You got to love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
You shall not pass.
I think that was Ephesians, if I remember right. You shall not pass.
Yes. Yeah. I thought it was the gallstones. So now I start to feel like an ass. Did I imagine all of this? What was the rustling noise that awoke my dog, and how could I hear the door to the garage slam shut? One thing I know is my dog Demita believes me because she heard it too. I hope you found this an interesting read. I hope you read this on the air. If not, at least I got to share my experience. Your friend in Michigan, Frank G. Frankie G. I think your wife was right. Her story is scary, or get her to write it down. No, I'm just teasing you, Frank. Thanks for sharing that. That's weird.
There's nothing more terrifying than being hammered by Frankie G with his pug standing by his side.
Oh, how about Frankie G and the pug dropping the hammer? That sounds like a good rap album right there to me, Tim.
That is. That's a great rap album. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your next supernatural news bit for me, Timothy?
Well, the face of an 18th century vampire witch who was tortured to death will be revealed by scientists here shortly. Scientists are about to reconstruct the face of a woman who was killed in the 18th century for being a witch and subjected to a vampire burial. By creating a 3D model of the woman's skull, a team of researchers in Poland hoped to show what she would have looked like at the time of her death in the late 1700s. The skeleton of a woman was discovered by archaeologists in 2014. At the time, researchers believed it to be the body of a man who became known as the vampire of Camion. A piece of brick had been placed in the mouth of the skeleton, and stakes had been driven through the legs. Oh, sounds like a nice, easy death there. Medieval and post-medieval anti-vampiric burials are found across Europe, with graves having been discovered at sites across Poland, Bulgaria, and Italy, or Italy, as we like to say here in the Midwest.
That's where the Italians come from. Italy.
From Italy. It is thought people believed that they could take preventative measures to stop the deceased from rising from the grave. Along with placing a brick in the mouth, other techniques include placing a sickle over their necks, which would decapitate them if they tried to escape, and weighing their bodies down with stones. Scientists at the Pomeranian Medical University in, I believe it's Seskin, have carried out genetic and forensic analysis of the Camion skeleton and say the body belonged to a woman who was at least 65 when she died. She was about 5'6" tall and had blonde hair and blue eyes, reports Science in Poland, a site run by the country's Ministry of Science and Higher Education. They say that injuries to the body were sustained while she was alive, or still alive rather, and that she died, or likely died from them. They believe she was accused of being a witch, then tortured, with the leg piercing being part of this. Her accusers are believed to have placed a brick in her mouth to ensure protection from her black magic even after her death. Witch trials are known to have taken place in Poland across the medieval period, with the last taking place around the end of the 18th century. The team from the Pomeranian Medical Institute plan to use their 3D model of the woman's skull to create a reconstruction of her face. There's a lot of interest in the appearance of this person. Andrei Oswowski, head of the forensic genetics unit at the university, was quoted as saying that. He said the plan is to make a virtual reconstruction as well as a 3D model, which will be built with layers of plastic material representing the soft tissue. They're planning to unveil the woman's face in a few months. We want to show that with the help of modern methods, we're able to replace skeletons that are very common in museums with 3D models based on research, Oswowski said. I think that in the future we should not display human remains in museums, especially that we already have the technology to replace them with models. So there you go.
Very weird. All right, where are we off to next?
Next, a family is selling their haunted house where they received terrifying letters for years despite never having lived there.
The Watcher, huh?
Yes, the Watcher house. A family that has been the target of creepy letters signed anonymously by the Watcher has sold their home after 5 years at a $400,000 loss. In 2014, Maria and Derek Broaddus purchased the home in Westfield, New Jersey, an affluent town, for $1.4 million. However, before moving in, they decided to make some renovations to the house, at which point they received the first letter from the watcher. This according to an investigation into the house by The Cut. The initial letter welcomed the family to the neighborhood and introduced the anonymous writer as a guardian of the home. It reportedly read, 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now, and as it approaches its 110th birthday, I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s, and my father watched in the 1960s. It is now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? I will find out. Despite never moving into the house, the family continued to receive letters from the writer as renovations continued. Subsequent letters focused on the family's children, referring to them as young blood, and often included veiled threats, such as whether the owners had discovered what was in the walls. One letter sent to the family reportedly read, "Will the young blood play in the basement, or are they too afraid to go down there alone? I would be very afraid if I were them. It is far away from the rest of the house. If you were upstairs, you would never hear them scream." In an effort to put an end to the letters and the stalking, the family attempted to sue the previous owners in 2015, alleging that they had also received a letter from the watcher that they had not disclosed. However, the lawsuit was dismissed in 2017. Private investigators and home security systems were also unsuccessful in identifying the writer, and the case remained unsolved. After 5 years and multiple unsuccessful attempts at selling the house previously, the Broaddus family successfully sold the home for $959,000 on July 1st. In December, the rights of the family's real-life haunted house experience, which captured national attention, were purchased by Netflix, this according to Deadline. So there you go.
That's cool and creepy.
Very cool and creepy.
I mean, not if you own the house. That's got to suck.
No, if you own the house, taking a bath like that for $400,000 is...
Yeah, but did they? Do you think because they sold the rights in the story, they made up for it in Netflix deal, and then they could just get rid of the house?
Depends. It depends on if there's, a back end of the deal, if they get any residuals off the deal. I don't know. If they come out in the end after the deal smelling a little sweeter, then I guess it's all worth it. If not, then, and you did take a loss on it, I think it's unfortunate,
Yeah, no doubt. All right, where shall we go next?
Well, some good news for our friend Nick Groff. He's launching a new series online called Nick Groff Investigates. Nick Groff is one of the most respected names in television and beyond when it comes to the paranormal, and he's had incredible experience in some of the most haunted locations in the world. And as a friend to Arrow in the Head, they've shared some very exciting experiences with Nick, including a couple of wild and spooky moments that they've managed to capture on camera. And Arrow in the Head has decided to work with the television host and producer extraordinaire so he can share his knowledge and insight on things that go bump in the night. They have a bi-monthly column, and they plan to delve into everything from urban legends to ghostly apparitions to his take on some of the coolest genre flicks ever, and it's called Nick Groff Investigates. It's a new series by Nick, and it doesn't seem that long ago that Arrow in the Head decided to partner up for a very special column. And while they've always covered everything genre and then some, they say it's been a blast to add something different to the mix, and since they've been fans of Nick's for quite a long while, the idea of mixing up a bit of horror, a lot of paranormal, and hopefully a scare or two seemed like the perfect fit. And they're saying now, a year later, they're still writing about some of the spookiest places on Earth, the most terrifying tales of terror, and some of the scariest horror flicks ever made. And yet today, in this week's column, Nick and Arrow in the Head have made some huge news together. They're saying that they're getting together with Nick and creating Nick Groff Investigates on VidiSpace and Amazon Prime. The new series begins with Nick's return to Bobby Mackey, where he's going to be going much further inside its haunted history than ever before. As well, Arrow in the Head will continue to bring you his take on all things scary. and they'll be offering more exclusives and more about the upcoming series in addition to regularly scheduled programming as well. They're saying that Nick will explain the upcoming VidiSpace episodic more in detail, but it looks like it's an ongoing series there, Dave, along with Nick. So it says, there's a quote here from Nick as well. It says, "I've always been fascinated by the paranormal and life experiences. The timing today could not be more perfect in my journey to launch the Nick Groff Investigates series on VidiSpace and Amazon Prime. First episode will be at Bobby Mackey's in Wilder, Kentucky, a perfect location to dive deeper into the paranormal and learn new insight. Every time I go back to Bobby Mackey's building, I leave with more questions, and it's very intriguing. It's exciting to explore all these incredible locations and tell their stories from a different perspective. I feel compelled to go beyond where other networks would stop and typically polish content. I love the raw nature of pulling back the layers at a location and getting to the core of the unexplainable activity, really telling the story and what's going through my mind while investigating. This is a journey that you'll join me in the front seat and go along for the ride. Twists and turns will jolt me on the path while still maintaining the real quest to learn new knowledge, explain or experience the unknown, discover weird activity and beyond. This is what this episodic series is all about. Every step I take will be personal and shed new light on questions I've had for a long time. Throughout my journey, Arrow in the Head will cover the Nick Groff Investigates column on a bi-weekly basis. We will talk about new theories, paranormal, horror, film, life, death, and beyond. Get ready for an epic roller coaster ride." So there you go.
Excellent. We'll have to talk to him as the shows are ready to launch and bring him back on the program. Talk about what we can expect.
Most definitely.
All right. Where are we going next?
Well, it says here 5 spooky tales from a Singapore film set or Singapore film sets that will give you the chills. This Hungry Ghost Festival. This is interesting. Burning Kim Zua or offerings shroud the neighborhood in a hazy fog that distinct burnt smell fills the balmy air. It's evidently some spooky tales that are happening around some film sets as a Hungry Ghost Festival goes on in Singapore. You get some Gatai booths that pop up around the heartlands, and performers in iridescent costumes are singing their hearts out to a near-empty audience. That kind of sets the stage as we go to Singapore. And if you've lived in Singapore your whole life, you already know what's up. The annual Hungry Ghost Festival has arrived once again this year. And for believers, this means the gates of hell are open for spirits to wander the earth for a month. Evidently, they've never been to California in rush hour.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Superstitions abound during this eerie time, and one of them is to not talk about the dead, for they are always present and curious to know what the living think of them. Yet paranormal tales always seem to draw us in, much like how you are into this story right now, and our need to freak them or ourselves out seem as spooky as the ghosts themselves. If you're interested in the dead, don't be surprised to find out that the dead are just as interested in you, especially if you work in the entertainment industry. Uh-oh, Dave. They're interested in us, too.
Stop staring at me. Don't look at me like that.
Sorry. Anyone who has ever worked on the set of an Asian movie will tell you that there are rituals and ceremonies that precede the official filming in order to precipitate a smooth shoot. According to one producer that this person who wrote the article spoke to, film sets are often haunted because spirits in the area are drawn to the sites of entertainment since they lead to an otherwise mundane lifestyle. Think about it. If you see someone filming on the street, won't the K-Po in you awaken as well? I don't know. Is your K-Po awoke, Dave?
I try to keep it pretty sedate.
Oh, good. So here are some chilling real-life encounters with the paranormal as told by film crew that'll be sure to give you goosebumps this lunar 7th month if you're celebrating. Ghostly kids in an abandoned school in Toa Payoh. Nestled in the heartlands is an abandoned school near Toa Payoh, Lorong 1, that's said to have made the crew of The Days, a local movie released in 2008, go through literal hell. According to the producer, there was a particular spot on the basketball court which caused the main actors to trip and fall, even though it was flat ground and there was nothing obstructing their path. One night after wrapping up a long day's shoot at 4 a.m., a team was on their way out of the school in a car when a producer noticed the gate that was left slightly ajar. Offhandedly, he remarked, If only the gate was opened a little more, then we won't have to go down to open it." To the horrors of other passengers, the gate started creaking open just a little wider at his words, as if someone was listening on them. Later, someone in the crew said to possess the third eye, or the ability to see the supernatural, revealed that the school was full of ghostly children who were making noises and running down corridors, mischievously pulling the legs of whoever walked on the basketball court. Apparently, the crew had only been praying for blessings with red jaw sticks that are reserved for deities, when they should have been using green ones meant for lesser beings. Never get your sticks crossed, Dave. That's
an important life lesson.
Right. This one is called The Last Shot. When it comes to outdoor shoots, good weather is a must, and some Asian directors employ the use of bomos, or witch doctors, in rituals to ensure it. One such ritual that boggles the mind is that of skewering garlic, dried and fresh chili on a satay stick, and getting a virgin to place it in 3 corners of a film set. That would never happen in L.A., Dave. Never. Another supposedly involves getting exact geographical coordinates to bomos so that they can protect the area from rain. Yes, we're talking longitude and latitude here, and they must be precise so the protection might cover a neighboring village instead. At the same abandoned school, the crew was forced to keep their equipment 3 times because it would rain every single day the director yelled action. Mind you, this was the last shot of the movie, and everyone was fatigued and done with the weather. Bewildered at the schizophrenic weather, the exhausted director finally realized the problem. The fault apparently lay in the location of the last shot being moved suddenly without informing Tua Pek Kong, which is a Taoist deity. "Look at it this way," the producer said. "Can you imagine asking Tua Pek Kong for permission to film in his territory, getting that permission, and suddenly choose not to film there without telling him? Of course he'll be angry." Well, of course. After they apologized and sought permission again, the last scene was shot without a hitch. The next one is the cameras that refuse to cooperate. Ever been told that spirits can be detected, though their interference with electronic devices? Well, during one shoot, a new camera placed in one particular corner of a room consistently malfunctioned and would record neither picture nor sound, but would work perfectly fine when it was moved to another location. Having an inkling that something was not right, the director instructed the entire crew to pray earnestly to the 4-faced god that was supposedly guarding the set, and the camera was able to work again once prayers were finished. Is that weird? Well, you bet. The next one is the Pulau Ubin Saboteur. One movie that was shot in Pulau Ubin was reportedly riddled with problems throughout the filming. From sudden bad weather, when predictions were that it would be clear, to things going missing or lights inexplicably spoiling, it was an overall bumpy shoot. A sound guy on set who had special abilities asked the spirits why they were unhappy. The reason? Unbeknownst to the crew, someone had brought canned luncheon meat made of pork onto the island, which angered spirits of a Malay kampung that used to reside there. All it takes is a little pork to piss off a god, Dave.
Well, I don't know. Pork is some of the greatest, most delicious food on planet Earth, in my opinion.
Well, I'm right there with you, but, evidently the gods don't agree. She brought the spirit back to Singapore. Well, during the filming of a 2017 local movie shot at the old Kamtar Theater in Penang, a crew member with a naturally weak aura had a paranormal experience with a malignant wraith. According to a producer who worked on the set, the traumatized lady was held by the throat and pinned to the toilet wall, scolded by the being for disturbing spirits on set. One of them later possessed her and followed the poor girl back to Singapore because an incompetent Bomo failed to cast it out of her. She later had to engage her personal Bomo to exorcise the spirit once she returned home. The producer also added that the Kamtar Theater contained many ghostly brothers and sisters, and a caretaker resolutely told them that die no human being can remain in the premises after 23:59. Perhaps the caretaker wanted to get off work on time, or maybe he had a more ominous reason for enforcing that rule. The same producer was told that some poor fellow had accidentally fallen into the orchestra pit and died suddenly, unable to attain peace in the afterlife. It said that till this day, if you listen carefully beneath the theater floors, you might be able to hear the tinkling of bells. And there you go. Those are the legends.
That's pretty wild. Those are just from the sets, huh?
Yeah, just from the sets.
That's crazy. Maybe it's time to stop filming there.
I think so, yeah. Probably not a good location.
That's a bit of a quitter attitude, I guess.
Nah.
Quitter, pumpkin eater? I don't know how that goes.
Quitter, you're a spitter.
Yep. Yeah. All right, where are we off to next?
Next, we will talk about some ghost hunters that broke into a dead man's home after rumor is that it might be haunted. A pair who broke into the house of a recently deceased man. Yeah, I said the wrong words, didn't I? No,
the fact that people are breaking into homes to ghost hunt is just so stupid.
Yeah. A pair who broke into the house of a recently deceased man claimed to be ghost hunters. That's the big word here, claimed to be, and said they were there because of rumors that it might be haunted. This according to a court hearing. Jason McCash and his girlfriend Naomi Ruth Hayworth, both 35, forced the back door of a property in Accrington on January 30th and found items strewn around the house. This according to the hearing. Prosecutor Helen Longworth told Preston Crown Court that they later admitted to roaming around the house freely before being arrested at the scene by police. She said they claimed to be ghost hunting or pretending to be ghosts in order to frighten one another. Defense barrister Richard Dawson, not the one from Family Feud, but, representing McCash, said his client has a particular interest in the paranormal, and there were rumors that a body had been left undiscovered for a very long time. He told the court the entire Lancashire area is a veritable hotbed of paranormal activity, including every type from witches, headless specters to ghosts and Roman soldiers and everything in between. The town of Accrington, seems to have had more than its fair share of paranormal activity, and on the night of January 30th, Jason McCash and his girlfriend went to what they had understood to be a property where somebody certainly had been deceased, perhaps murdered, and the body had been left undiscovered for a very long time. The rumors going around Accrington was that this might be a haunted house. He maintains in his account in interview that he had a particular interest in the paranormal and that both he and his partner attended the property pursuant to those rumors over the course of weeks and effected their own entry to explore. The court heard that the owner of the house had passed away in December of 2018 and the property was awaiting disposal. Mr. Dawson said the house, as they found it, was effectively that of an extreme hoarder. McCash described entry and walking around on top of rubbish standing about 3 feet from the ground. Ew. It was an unusual property in and of itself. They were there for a relatively short period before the police attended, and they are discovered and arrested. McCash and Hayworth of Ormerod Street, Accrington, both pleaded guilty to criminal damage. Judge Heather Lloyd told the pair, "Your explanations for being found in this house as trespassers is, in my judgment, utterly ludicrous, and I don't accept it for 1 minute." Hayworth also pleaded guilty to a separate offense of theft relating to an incident at Greenbank Police Station after she was arrested. The court heard that the mom of one who was suffering from the effects of drug withdrawal swiped a purse from a nurse as she was being treated. The victim only discovered the purse was missing when she went to McDonald's a few hours later. In a statement provided to the court, the nurse said the incident made me feel violated and less trusting of anyone. Richard English, defending Hayworth, said it was a mean thing to do and she was not thinking clearly at the time. He said she was addicted and withdrawing from heroin. She saw an opportunity and took it. She was still in custody when the property was recovered. The court heard how Hayworth had been a heroin addict since the age of 19, but now feels brand new after she stopped taking the Class A drug. Mr. English said she now wants to work with people with substance issues. McCash, who has a large number of previous convictions, also included dishonesty, house burglary, theft, and assault, was given a 12-month conditional discharge order. Hayworth was also given a 12-month conditional discharge in order to pay £50 compensation to the nurse. Sentencing Hayworth, Judge Lloyd said this was a particularly mean offense, and when you were supposed to be unwell and being treated by the nurse, I'm not surprised that she feels violated and less trusting. Heaven knows they're not working in pleasant circumstances in the first place. Many people would think this offense alone deserves immediate imprisonment. However, I have to sentence you in accordance with the sentencing guidelines, which places this in the lowest category of harm, as it does, astonishingly, culpability. There you go. Everything is quite proper and British in that story.
Quite proper, quite British. All right, where are we off to next, sir?
We go to Hollyweird, Dave.
Hollyweird. Hollyweird.
A Chicago area sergeant recalls his encounter with an apparition on a Travel Channel paranormal series. It's this having to do with former Stone Park Police Sergeant Ron Fabiani. We've talked,
buddy Fabs. Yeah,
Fabs. Rob Fabiani. He said he encountered an apparition in 2003 while responding to a 911 call from a bar doorman who said he heard strange noises after closing time. When there's something in the room that's empty making noise and it's not subtle, you stand up and notice that, Fabiani says on Monday's episode of the Travel Channel series Paranormal Emergency, which is scheduled to air at 9 p.m. I had an uneasy feeling that I wasn't alone. What the heck is really going on, he went on to say. Paranormal Emergency, which premiered this month, features police officers, paramedics, and other first responders recalling interactions with mysterious entities while on duty. Fabiani's story, which includes footage and audio he said he captured using a camcorder with night vision at the bar that night, is one of 3 experiences explored on Monday's hour-long episode. After his 2003 encounter, Fabiani formed Chicago Paranormal Detectives, a group of suburban cops who investigate haunted sites and supernatural occurrences. Cameras followed the group for the short-lived A&E network series Paranormal Cops, which aired in 2010. Fabiani left the Stone Park Police Department in 2016 after more than 26 years and began working for the Forest Preserve District of DuPage County's Law Enforcement Department. So there you go.
All right. How many more stories do we have left, sir?
We have 2 stories left.
Final 2 stories.
This one is
I was trying to make it a big production for you.
Yeah, please.
Our final two stories. Okay, what is it?
The effects budget is being stretched here, I can see.
Yes, it is.
Yes. A mom has captured some horrifying paranormal figure on video. She's chatting to her best friend. A terrified mom is said to have captured a horrifying, mysterious figure on film while home alone. Ooh, speaking of, I got to stop right here. Did you see the absolutely terrifying story that was on the net last week that Disney is going to remake Home Alone?
That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Macaulay Culkin's probably spinning in his grave. Oh, we miss you, Macaulay.
He's still alive, Dave. Not only that, but he's actually pitching to play the dad in that movie.
Oh, interesting. All right, well then, good to have you back, Macaulay.
Well, they didn't hire him yet, but he's pitching to play the dad. A mom of 4, Lori Simmons, was caught video chatting on an app called Marco.
Polo?
Yes, that's what it's called.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Marco Polo, which also allows users to record video to each other in real time. Have you ever used Marco? Is Marco Polo a British thing?
I don't know. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it either.
Well, aside from the pool game.
Oh, it must not be because this was a U.S. story. Huh. Marco Polo. Never heard of it. The 47-year-old from Yakima, Washington, said she had just woken up and was chatting with her best friend, Shanna Thomas, but was left horrified when Shanna asked if there was somebody in the house with her. Lori, who claims to have been home alone at the time, said her heart stopped after she replayed the chilling footage and witnessed a dark figure dash in and out behind her while she spoke to Shanna. The store manager said, "I'd only just moved into my apartment, so I was video chatting with my friend to show her around, and I was just talking about general things. It was nothing out of the ordinary. We were using an app called Marco Polo, which is like a video walkie-talkie. You can hit the start button to record, and others can watch you in real time like a regular video call. You can then replay it." But all of a sudden, her face got really serious, and she asked if someone was in the house with me. I live alone, but I instantly looked around because it was so weird the way she said it, and it really frightened me. I told her I was home alone, and she looked pretty shocked and told me to watch my video again to see what I thought. She said it was like someone was following me around the house. So I watched it and my heart jumped into my throat. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was so scary. It sent chills down my spine, and it just shocked me so much. I had lots of paranormal experiences in my life, but nothing quite like this. I've only cried twice in my life from things like this that I've seen, but this did make me cry, she went on to say. Lori said she was so frightened by what she saw that she decided to stay at her daughter's house for the night, and the next day they had the house cleaned and blessed by a spiritual friend. The mom added her new house, which was built in 1935, is located in the oldest part of town and is situated right next to both a hospital from the early 1800s and a nursing home. Lori believes the figure to be a ghost of a prankster teenage boy, but is also open to the idea of it being an alien. Well, there's a stretch. It's either teenage boy or alien, one or the other. Despite the horrifying...
At least they've narrowed it down, Tim. That's the important thing.
At least we've got a good handle on the deal. And despite the horrifying ordeal, the mom is determined to stay in her new home. She said, I showed the video to people at my work, and they actually screamed. That scared me to see their reactions. I believe it was the spirit of a teenage boy, maybe 13 or 14 years old, but many people have said they think it's an alien. I definitely believe in aliens, so it's certainly a possibility. People have told me to move out, but you can't run from these type of things, she went on to say. Jewelry maker Shanna, who is 46 years old, was on the video chat with her best friend Lori at the time, and she said she couldn't believe her eyes when the figure appeared. She added, I seriously thought someone was walking behind her like a human child. I watched this all happen in real time on the app. I saw this thing peek around the corner at me as if to see if we were still talking. I've watched this video probably 1,000 times and it still creeps me out. I kind of felt like I wanted to be seen, almost playfully. I believe it was the spirit of someone who has passed and wanted to be acknowledged. It was very startling to see, and I can't stop thinking about it. So there you go. One last story here, Dave.
All right, the final story. The final story.
Europe is turning in their grave.
The entire continent?
No, just the band.
Oh,
they died years ago, but they're, yeah. This one, Dave, I'm excited. Okay, now even I want to storm Area 51 because now there's skin in the game, literally, Dave. There is skin in the game with storming Area 51. As an adult entertainment company says it will now bring exotic dancers to the Storm Area 51 event. Now it's a party. We got
what is going on?
We got naked chicks at the Storm Area 51 event. Now it's a party. Now,
how did I know that would be your favorite part of the entire event?
Well, now I'll go. Now there's something to go there for. Before it was just a bunch of idiots out there getting shot by the government. Now I'll go.
If the alien jerky wasn't enticing enough for you, you needed nude women. All right,
well, now there's something. Now there's something. Here we go. We go to Las Vegas, where in case you haven't heard enough from the Facebook prank event, and I don't even think it's a prank event. I think people actually think this is for real. I think people are like, I'm going.
Well, the guy has created an event. It's like a big festival that's going to be taking place in Rachel, Nevada. And supposedly they've got this big organization behind the Burning Man and some other festivals that are running it. And it takes place in September. It's not much of a turnaround, but I guess people are planning on going. They've got entertainment. They've got all kinds of stuff. So the actual raid on 51, not going to happen. It might be like a 5K run, but I don't think they're going to actually make a – but, of course, you get 10,000 drunken stone people in the Nevada desert. God knows what could happen next, Tim.
It's going to be Firefest Part 2. It's just going to be people looking for cheese sandwiches and crabs. That's all it's going to be. No water.
It's kind of bleak.
I'm just saying.
I go, even if there's nudie girls, I won't be going then.
Well, I'll go for the nudie girls. I'll just bring my own food and water.
All right.
I'm just saying, plan accordingly. In case you haven't heard enough about the Facebook prank turned national sensation, here's another uniquely Nevada nugget about the viral Storm Area 51 post. Whether or not the millions of people who signed up to invade the top secret military base will succeed or get to see them aliens, Dave, they'll definitely get to see strippers. And why would you want to see aliens when you can see strippers? That's what I'm saying. In a completely irrelevant move, Deja Vu Services, God bless you people, Nevada's largest adult entertainment operator, is bringing about a dozen dancers. That's hardly enough for like 500,000 people, by the way. Along with the strip club on wheels, the stripper-mobile. Ooh, we get to see the stripper-mobile, Dave. You get a dozen dancers in the stripper-mobile. What more could you want?
That sounds like a very packed stripper-mobile.
It does, doesn't it? You get a dozen dancers in a stripper-mobile. Come September 20th, we'll be there, Director of Operations Ryan Carlson said. We know that most Americans know that strippers make any event better. God love you. And this one will be no exception, Ryan went on to say. Deja Vu is approaching the event as the ultimate alien tailgate party, or UAT, as the kids are calling it. I don't know what they are. With the hopes of entertaining everyone before and after the Blitz, and encourages everyone to make it rain. Even the aliens, Dave. Even the aliens.
Oh, yeah, let's make this happen, Garfunkel the 7th.
Carlson said, we don't know if there's aliens at Area 51, but if there are, they'll be entertained upon their rescue, along with any partygoers that attend. God love you.
God love you.
The Storm Area 51 event has inspired many responses from government agencies and businesses. The U.S. Air Force issued a warning to anyone seriously considering raiding the base. The Central American Tourism Board is offering residents of Rachel, Nevada, which is located near the military base, free trips to Belize to escape the invasion of Area 51 raiders. There's something else to count on. But in the meantime, if you're about to be bombed into oblivion, why not throw a few hundreds at some young ladies looking forward to college? That's what I got to say about that.
You are a treasure, Tim.
Well, you know.
All right, that's it for this week, folks. We want to hear your stories, damn it. Email me, Dave, at darknessradio.com, or call us and leave a voicemail story, 651-300-4977. Stop being so shy. We want to hear your story, 651-300-4977. We've got an interesting show lined up for you tomorrow. I hope you'll tune in for more of the best in paranormal talk radio. I'm Dave. That's Tim. This is Beyond the Darkness.